put it at 6, I think. Yeah, so by the way, Elden Ring is not one of the hated games. Definitely not. I should do hated YouTube channels. There's a new YouTube channel I absolutely despise because it is being super manipulative. I don't even know if I want to say their name because then they just get viewers anyways. But they've been super manipulative and taking advantage of the whole Starfield thing, just like Cyberpunk, some Cyberpunk fans have been with the whole PlayStation attack on Starfield. And it's been ridiculous. They've been taking advantage of the situation and being pretty nasty in their stuff, and not in a good way either. You can still do like stuff in a cynical or critical way that may come across negative, but still with a positive tone. Say, for example, if you're going after microtransactions or something, I think that is a worthy cause. But if you're doing it for more selfish purposes, you're being egotistical about it and attacking people without acknowledging that, like, not all of the fan base of one fan base is bad. Because even Cyberpunk's fan base isn't entirely bad. I just think that the ones that stand out and make the videos should probably die to this guy. Or he'll miss. Okay. Am I fat rolling or something? What's going on here? Okay, good. I wanted that to happen. It was weird how he missed me the first time I was trying to get hit and he somehow missed me. But yeah, I have notes on my most hated games. There are games I do not like that I absolutely despise. And I might start off talking about dishonorable mentions, not honorable mentions, but dishonorable. Let me just get to where I was talking about that stuff with my friend because he's the one that has where I wrote my notes. Oh, is this it? I think I found it. There we go. I called it honorable mentions. It's clearly dishonorable though. So, dishonorable mentions. First off, I have to say in dishonorable mentions is trendy games. So like battle royales or games that have the title Genshin and Impact in their name. Gotcha games stuff, just like yeah, no, freaking I find them super annoying. They're overrated, in your face constantly, and they're part of some of the next couple problems I might mention in the dishonorable mentions list, such as once I get to phone games, because that will be up soon. So, speaking of which, most mobile games mobile games, especially their commercials and ads, like, man, there's some thirsty and simping furry like mobile games that feel like they're for certain audiences, let's say, that feel very thirsty. And it's just in your face. Some of those ads are just really bad. Like you get an ugly looking game and it's like, what a stupid looking piece of crap. Freaking hate phone games. Let me just check something with the audio balancing. You're probably going to see a blue screen, so hang tight for a second while I test something. All right, how is this working? Let's turn down my microphone there a little bit. There we go. Hopefully that's better. It looked like it was going over the bar and into the red. I don't want it to do that very much. I hope I'm not too quiet for you guys too. Since I haven't played this in a while, this is the first time a little bit, as well as it's the first time because after I lost all my save data. But luckily I didn't go too far on the PlayStation version of Elden Ring, though what other games I have. Like Bloodborne, I've literally platinumed that game. Um, So what else did I say? We got tutorial. We can do the tutorial area, yeah. Just take the tutorial pop-ups. I love this cloak, by the way. This looks pretty cool. So then I named ESO. I said at least they finally added companions to ESO, Elder Scrolls Online. It still feels like a mid Elder Scrolls game and just a mid game in general, especially just a mid like online MMORPG game in general too. Most of Blizzard's recent crap, especially Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4. I wasn't a big fan of Diablo 3 and Overwatch 1, but my brother played Overwatch a lot with me, and I kind of bonded with him through it. But otherwise, I wouldn't play it on my own time or care to play it. I think even if I had friends, I probably it would just be a love-hate relationship, honestly. So, and with a lot of the stuff going on around Blizzard in general, it's like I don't think I want to be associated with that. Also, I have to mention EA, especially with a lot of their more recent stuff. Maybe not Jedi Fallen Order and all that crap, and what was the other game? I don't hate Titanfall 2. I don't hate the Dead Space remake. But the stuff they ruined, like Anthem, I freaking hate Anthem, and I hate the recent Battlefield games, Battlefield 5, Hardline, and 2042 or whatever it's called. I hate those. I also hate these really, like, I call them an absolute cringe factory of crap games, and that would be stuff like Saints Row reboot, and same with the recent Borderlands stuff, or the stuff from that company, like even the Tiny Tina game there. I forget what it's called, but like those games have so many cringy jokes and stuff, and it just makes me want to die inside hearing the character dialogue and all the stuff they say and do. It's just really it sucks. And so the same with Forspoken. Forspoken goes in that category too, freaking of cringe factory of games. I used to hate Destiny 1 and 2. I still have problems with the lore, as well as just I find it a really repetitive, mediocre game, but I don't hate it as much as I used to. But still has some problems, and I hear the fan base is up and down about how they feel towards the stuff they do with Destiny 2, especially. So, yeah. Then I brought up Ubisoft. I found the first Division game at least, and both the recent Ghost Recon games super boring. I hate how tedious and how big their open worlds are, and especially Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Far Cry 6. Like, Far Cry 6 might want to go into that cringe category. Like, those games were freaking... They were really, like, too big for their own good, and they got really boring and they felt like they were too huge for their own good, that it was easy for me to get lost and get bored in their worlds. They just weren't that compelling. And, there were even things I hated about how their giant open worlds worked. Like, I like traveling the sea in Black Flag, but I hated traveling it in Odyssey. Odyssey was really boring to travel through the sea via boat. And I found that their world was just really lifeless, empty, and just too huge and intimidating. I just got really bored real quick just exploring it. And I couldn't with it. Especially the Ghost Recon, those were especially boring. So, I think some others, I do like, I like Immortal Phoenix Rising, I like, Riders Republic, I hear the new Crew game's probably good, or probably gonna be good. Hopefully it is. And I think Rainbow Six Siege, I think the alien Rainbow Six game is awful. Like taking that mode and making it its own game, that was stupid. I'm glad XD Defiant or X Defiant got rid of the Tom Clancy title, but hopefully it's good. And they're kind of bringing back Prince of Persia and Rayman, though it's not quite what I expected. I was expecting what they did with Prince of Persia to actually kind of happen with what bringing back Rayman, where I expected more of a 3D Prince of Persia instead of what we got. Still looks good though, I hope it is. Same with the latest Assassin's Creed, I hope it's good. I do think Luke Stevens simps too hard sometimes for the Assassin's Creed series. But as long as he's got good enough points and arguments, that's fine. Same goes for various other games. People have different points arguments they can bring up or have of interest for other games, and I brought that point up when making my comments to Asmon on Asmongold's recent videos, as well as certain other recent videos. Which I also kind of roasted because they were doing the whole sniper wolf problem that Actman just talked about with the reusing of thumbnails. My thumbnails may not be good, but I'm not trying to have if I wanted to try on thumbnails, I would, but also you have to realize that my computer is dead and that doing that kind of stuff through my phone is not as easy and is quite annoying. So it just makes it a ordeal to deal with. So if you don't see like any great thumbnails and it's just like a image of the game or something I'm in the middle of in the game, then that explains it. Alright, where's this guy? There he is. He's in the back. Oh, what the hell? I went. Like that, ding. Alright, let's get back to what I was talking about. Alright, sweet. I didn't know what to choose as a gift, so I just chose like one of those gargoyle stone keys, honestly. Game's not like Dark Souls 1 where the master key is the absolute answer to everything. So let's get this door. Alright, what else did I say? I think I was still... Of course, genuinely bad games too, but yeah. And honestly, the two games I'm about to talk about on my list that I'm going to start with, I was backtracking on thinking of putting them on the list in the first place, just because I don't think they're really worth putting on. Matter of fact, maybe the first three. Let's see. Oh yeah, and I went into something else that will be in the list, so I won't talk about that. Though one of the reasons I'm putting the games that I am is because mostly, like I said with the first couple, at least the fans calm down or aren't as toxic with. So that's why they're not going to be in like first or second place or anything. They're just going to be in 10th, 9th or whatever. But the ones that are on higher up on the list in first place and such or whatever, if you would say that's lower or higher, I don't know what you would say, are the ones that have fans that big time cope are honestly annoying and have made their games kind of unbearable because of not only how they've been, but of other things. Don't worry, it's not just fans, because once again, I'm not saying that all fans of these games I'm about to talk about are bad. You don't want to classify everybody. I feel like people do that a lot. Once again, I use the saying bound to be. There's bound to be this or that. So there's bound to be people who are good, who know what they're talking about, are constructive on their feedback and criticisms and so on and so forth. And then there are people who are the opposite, sadly. And sadly, I've experienced a lot of that opposite more than I have the positive. And it sucks when that happens because it can degrade your experience and overall enjoyment and feeling towards a game. There are some games that can't always do that for, but that's because I've already had established feelings. And I didn't have established feelings for these games as well. I just didn't like them to begin with. And then whatever the fans that were hyping up or doing other annoying things that they did just brought it that level down further. So that's all I will say for that part for the most part once I get into the games. And I want to talk about the number 10th, the 10th game that is the worst, which I have a YouTuber I'm kind of a friend with. I've talked to on Discord. I haven't talked to him in a bit. Hopefully I see him again. I might have to message him sometime. I almost didn't put this on a list, but I'm going to say Evil Within 1. The first Evil Within, I love its sequel, but Evil Within 1 was a game that, oh, what the hell? That I actually made a kind of like parody video making fun of Let's Plays because they were all over the place, and I made a series that I thought was kind of clever but silly at the same time, where it was just like, instead of people enjoying playing games, how about somebody who freaking hates playing games or is not going to like the game they're about to play? And I made a series called Let's Hate to Play, and Evil Within was my first game on that. Came out around the same time Alien Isolation did, with just it had lack of enemy variety, and I found the controls kind of unbearable at times. The gunplay wasn't very fun. Every time you went to the hub area, it was very like the camera was too close to your character, and it felt very claustrophobic a lot of the times. And there was some sort of annoying thing you had to do that took forever, just finding out what the heck you had to do just to progress in the story. And it was just kind of an annoyance unless you get to know it well. And even after I played the game, and I have played the game like 3-4 times through, I haven't tried playing it on Akuma mode, and yeah, like just yeah. There are good things about Evil Within. I do like maybe 1 or 2 boss battles. And I love one part where there are invisible enemies and their footsteps can be seen in puddles and stuff. That's kind of cool. Other than that, I didn't like that it wasn't very scary, though that's more my personal preference. Though I always found Kid Icarus thinking that mannequin sequence is creepy, even though once you get to the bottom of that, just being some of the same generic dudes you've seen through the whole game are just wandering through there, then it's just kind of like meh or whatever. Alright. I'm thinking to take on the horsey man. What is this? What the hell? Weird. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take on the horse dude here. But, and I need to get to that church over there. That building. Let's take this. Now we're probably not going to succeed beating this guy first try. So keep that in mind. I love the look of this game. Even if it's not graphically good, it's art style that matters. Like, God, this is such a good looking game. Just imagine the Life of Brian guys up there. I'm Brian, and so is my wife. So funny. am doing that thing I've always told my friend never to do, and that's... Yep, I knew I was gonna die. Ah. I was doing the thing I've always told my friends not to do, which is panic roll, and I was panic rolling. You don't want to panic roll like me. I always give my friend that advice just to freaking buck it up myself. I overdo it. What are you gonna do? I have that problem just in general. So, hey, look, we wouldn't have gotten that tutorial thing otherwise. Yeah, anyways. Evil Within is a game, I didn't care about its villain or story either, and I found the characters just very bland in both their acting and their just character development, if you could call it that. There isn't much. I felt like there was some stuff ripping off other games too, like, for example, I felt like the Boxman thing was totally a ripoff of Pyramid Head. There's one YouTube video that's saying it's just a coincidence that it's similar to Pyramid Head. I don't buy that. Even if the creator or the designer of Boxman isn't trying to make it like that, then you still got Shinji Mikami, which must have known about Silent Hill, because he was basically up against Silent Hill, battling with it, because Resident Evil was going up against it. Oh, frick. Guy is ooh. Okay. But yeah. I am definitely not gonna win against him this second try. I can already tell. I gotta use my SSS again. I'll look for those goddamn openings. Oh, what the hell? You know the funny thing? I've actually beaten this on my first or second try. Yeah, there we go. Halfway. I think I need more health. I've beaten him before on first or second try. You can sneak around him though. Alright, so Evil Within. I don't know what else to say. I just never really cared for Evil Within. I found it fairly generic. When I was talking about Shinji Mikami with the Silent Hill thing, he was competing back in the day, like they were kind of, you know how PlayStation, Xbox has their competition, even though that's outdated as hell. That similar thing with Silent Hill and Resident Evil are going back and forth. So how did Shinji Mikami not know? Yeah, and his games, he basically had to make a game better than what they had for Silent Hill. He had competition, just like Xbox and PlayStation gave each other. So then we have, at number 9, is The Order 1886. Frick, this game. Technically, the game that's coming up in 8th, I would rather play than this game. But luckily, people acknowledge and know this game is awful, so thank goodness for that. This game never got a sequel, it never really took off anywhere, and I am so glad for that. But that doesn't stop it from being a game I freaking hate and is absolutely atrocious. I'm gonna try and go around this guy. Get off the trees, damn it. Going over here. And get away from the horse guy. And get in here. Got a merchant. Look like a medieval Emperor Palpatine from the back. But, man, the Order 1886 was a game that pissed me off. I felt like the game violated me back in the day. Such an awful game with terrible quick time events, or slow time events in this case. Frickin' boring ass, forgettable characters. I like the look of the game, and I can also tell that Evil Within has a unique look to it too, like their style, but it's not enough to save all the other things I didn't like about both those games. I know I didn't elaborate further into Evil Within, but trust me, I've had other problems with that game that pissed me off. But the Order 1886 is freaking terrible. Like, it's not even a game. It doesn't do anything revolutionary. It's not amazing at all. It's just a terrible freaking game that's trying to be a movie, and it's a bad one at that. It's boring. The characters are super forgettable. The story is so freaking awful. And it's just one of the most disastrous things I've seen. I freaking hate that game. But yeah, we got some okay. Got some cave systems we can do here. So let's try and do some of them. Excuse me. I'm yawning. Okay. Gotta find these. I haven't played this in a bit, so I don't remember much. I'm sure it will come back to me as I go. But, the Order 1886 was just... I hated its characters and world. It was just so repetitive. When you ruin stealth sections, you know you're a terrible game. Even Evil Within was at least better with its stealth. This guy's chasing me. And, he hit me. How did he freaking hit me? Whatever. I found that I was just extremely annoyed with the Order 1886, and it was just not a good game. It was a game that was just uncomfortable to play, even if you can call it that, because like most of the game is cutscenes and slow time events. These stupid mini games, terrible character and character development. It was just a really forgettable game that I just could not stand. It also had a unique setting that I wish I saw done better. But sadly, this is what we get, which will be ironic to our number 1 place game. But yeah, like, I freaking hate the Order 1886. It's just a game that's tormented me for a while now. I actually went out of my way to get all trophies in the game, to 100% it, just so I could never touch it again, and I finally sold the damn thing, got rid of it. I don't care what price I sold it for. It is not even worth a buck or a penny. It was freaking terrible. But yeah, such a freaking annoying ass game. Such a game that I would not torture anybody else with. I don't think I could bear torture. You know what? Maybe I'll torture the new enemy I guess I've made on YouTube with it. I would do that. Like, that game is freaking god awful. But yeah, just a freaking dumbass made game. You could also tell how freaking egotistical it was too. Like, the people who made it thought they were so brilliant, almost like a Zack Snyder situation, where it's like, oh, I'm so artistic and amazing. And it's like, clearly, like, yeah, you're the only one who's gonna like your own work. Nobody else is gonna like it. It's freaking terrible, and it just reeks of your selfish, egotistical mind. And I think you're so artistic and brilliant. Alright, next is gonna be... Oh, what happened? Next I'm gonna have to go with the, freaking, what is... Yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda. I gotta go with Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda is a game that I will play once in a while. It's not awful in its controls, but I do think the enemies you fight aren't very good. I don't freaking do that. I have a knife in my forehead. Hey, get over here. Nope. Bad. There. I still got a knife in my forehead. But Mass Effect Andromeda is that game that, I think the reason I had to put it on my list is it's coming off such a legendary series, and one of my favorite series, honestly, of all time, if not my number one favorite series of all time. And it's got some big shoes to fill in, and it frickin' disintegrated in those shoes. And it's not just the glitches. Once again, probably gonna be relatable to the first pick I'm about to have, but it was not the glitches that made this game a problem. This game had problems, big problems, that weren't even to do with the glitches. I found that where did you come from? I found that the like characters, most of the companions are boring and forgettable, and the story had a lot of forgettable elements too. Like, I barely remember the story or the villain. Like, one of the most forgettable, boring ass villains I've ever seen in a Mass Effect game. Whoa. Yeah, I'm not gonna get through this. How am I gonna heal myself, speaking of which? Huh. I'm gonna have to be very careful. could get one shot and die. Oh, yep, we gotta die down there. Well, I opened up the boss room, so I don't think I need to worry about the rest of this stuff. But I do need my health back. But Mass Effect was just such a letdown to its predecessors that I just had to put it here. The role-playing elements, if you can call them that, were very fake. I found there are no choices or consequences to your actions. None of your companions would, like, die or anything if you made bad choices or decisions. Most of the companions really didn't matter anyways, because I found most of them boring and forgettable. Even in the ending, there wasn't really much that would go on that would reveal the consequences of your actions. Okay, you got me that time. Okay. Ow. Oh, okay, my hitbox, I guess. Oh. I don't even think I'm supposed to be fighting this guy anyways this early. But yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda, I love how it keeps bringing me back to the top here. There we go. But yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda, I just don't like that. It was just such a letdown in its story. Characters, companions, and choices. Like, it was lackluster in all those departments. I'll probably do another area because I don't think I'm ready for this area yet. Probably be good to do some exploring anyways. Let's get rid of this dumbass first. He's in the way. There's a drop. Okay, yeah, of course. So, moving on to, what is it, so that was number 8, I think? Yeah, I think that was number 8, because the others is Evil Within in Order 1886. So then I'm gonna move on. Let me see here. Where should I? Ah, yes. So I gotta put the Resident Evil remakes next, because I don't think they're bad games, but because of what Capcom is doing with like the monetization of the recent Resident Evil 4 remake and taking out more content than adding in, like they did the original Resident Evil 1 remake, where they added in content, but now with Resident Evil 2 and such, they've taken out, and it's actually affected the game in somewhat a negative way. Like, we lost good villains, dialogue, locations, choices even, that have been lost now in the remakes. All to take themselves more seriously in a zombie apocalypse with mutated monsters. It's like, what? How are you taking this seriously? What are you trying to be, World War Z and such? Are you trying to be some serious zombie thing that's not really all that great in the first place? Maybe George Romero, but like, other than that, and I'm not a big zombie fan anyways, but like Resident Evil at least did something unique with the whole premise, But yeah, with the latest remakes, while they're not awful, they do have a lot of problems, whether it be the microtransactions they're doing. Look at the new Separate Ways DLC. Like, what is going on with Ada's acting? Like, the actress playing her is freaking awful. I would get a different director or something, because I blame the director for poor delivery, the poor, like not giving her more takes and stuff. It sounds like they tried to make her seem cool, but in the process she just came across really boring and mediocre. Or maybe she was uncomfortable with someone that was actually there working at Capcom. Maybe somebody made her uncomfortable. Who knows? But yeah, like her delivery is absolutely god awful and it's not helping. And her delivery was pretty bad in the main game as well. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to Separate Ways because of that. Even though I don't like the new Albert Wesker voice actor, I wish DC Douglas was back. I do think that the actors that were in the trailer were doing a hell of a better job compared to her. Her acting was freaking terrible. Oh, I forgot this was a bad guy. Okay. What? Okay. Yeah, I'm doing pretty poor for this comeback to this game. Whatever. It's Elden Ring. I still love this game. Nothing will make me change my mind. Besides, I was doing pretty good without my glasses on while playing Dark Souls, so I don't feel bad about that. I should do this game without my glasses, though. I was thinking about it. That'd be cool. But to get back on topic with Resident Evil, I think the games are good. I just think the stuff they replace or take away and stuff hurts it a bit, as well as just microtransactions. I found the stupid decision that Resident Evil 7 was too scary, so they had to dumb down Resident Evil 8. That was really dumb. And I was honestly kind of disappointed in Resident Evil 8. I agree with, is it Critical Nobody? Said that Resident Evil 8 was like a Resident Evil theme park. Yeah, like, nah. Just sucked though, some of the direction and stuff that Resident Evil has taken, and it's made me kind of hate it. And sometimes the fans can get pretty toxic too at times. I'm not, once again, not saying all of the fans are, but there are some toxic ones for sure. Every fan base has them. Goddamn, some of them stand out and you notice more than others, and it just sucks when that happens, because you shouldn't judge an entire fan base based on just a couple of dumbass individuals that say some dumbass things. Sadly, a certain YouTube channel once again is doing that. That I have hinted to previously in the video. And they probably know who they are. So, next up, that was 7, so we're moving on to number 6. I'm gonna go with the recent Halo games. So, besides the fact they took out co-op again and just repeated a lot of the same mistakes that they did with Halo 5, Halo 4 is okay, but it's got its problems, mostly with the multiplayer and some of the stuff with the story. I don't think the story is bad. I just think that making it very movie-like is not the direction they should be taking it, and they continued that with the later Halos after that. And from not giving the attention or holding back on Forge mode and stuff, and they're not really giving much attention to their community and what their community wants and modes in their games. They've just been lacking a lot, as well as, once again, no local and even no local co-op to their latest games, which freaking sucks. And I wish they would take that back. Luckily, there is local for the multiplayer, but that's not enough, and it kind of sucks. And I always found the campaigns are kind of generic and letdowns after a while when I come back to them. Like 5's obvious, but 4 and Infinite was like, come back to both of them, and I'm like, they're not as good as I remember. They have a lot of level design problems, or the levels start to blend and get boring looking, are too gray. There's something going on with them that I just do not like at all.
You're tarnished.
Oh, I thought he was going to say something else. That he would have to be cancelled over.
Why not purchase a little something? I am Carly.
You look like Santa.
Of fine goods.
But, yeah, like, Halo, sadly, I just haven't really liked the recent Halos. I haven't liked a lot of the things that Microsoft has done with them and not been able to add with them. They've been losing a lot of people. Like, I heard Joseph Staten was leaving. That was sad. I love his, I think he wrote only one Halo book, if I'm remembering correctly. And I think it was Contact Harvest? I'm not sure. But I remember liking his Halo book. It's pretty dope. And I will be probably reading that for the channel someday. When I get to my reading alongs, I really want to get back to them. I've just been holding them off, sadly, and having a lot of difficulties in life. So let's move on to, that was number 6, right? So we're moving on to number 5, are we? Let me just look here. 1, 2, 3. 4. Is that 5? Hold on. Huh. Do I not have I thought I had a 5th one on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, okay. I see what I did. Okay, I'll just throw that at number 10 then. Because I apparently said Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Far Cry 6, but I think the reason I'd say those is because one's really cringy, but it doesn't have a big fan base. But Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I've seen people actually, like, it's not a bad game, but people have defended it. I don't think it's very Assassin's Creed. I think, once again, the world is bloated, and not in a good way. It was painful traveling around and just through boat and just to discover the viewpoints so I could get that out of the way. And it was just not fun to travel the game. It was too big. And I didn't really get into its story. And the game, a lot of things about it got really repetitive and boring after a while. I just didn't find its world very compelling, and I wanted to like it because of its setting. But goddamn, did they have to bloat and make the world so freaking... Ugh, I don't even know. But yeah, I guess instead of 5, it would be number 4 we're moving to. Just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think it's number 4. Yeah. Okay. Next is frickin' Deathloop. Frickin' Deathloop, man. Like, when I say hated games, these are hated because they're not necessarily, not all of them are bad games, but because of certain things they either do or things surrounding them that hurt them more and made them freaking annoying to bear with. Or they were just torture in general, which a lot of these games were. And, thank you. I found Deathloop was really annoying. Like, it was trying to take every single game award, and it clearly did not deserve them. It was overhyped and overrated, literally, on Metacritic and stuff. And it was just a mediocre game with an forgettable art style that honestly was very ugly to me, in my opinion. and I just did not care for. And I tried playing it because I had Game Pass, and when I tried playing it, I found the levels very repetitive. They started to just reuse the same levels and stuff. The multiplayer barely works. Oh, here we go. Found a cave. Sweet. Let's do this place then. Should I rest? I think I should rest, just in case that other place. Also, I'm yawning. What time is it? Let me just check. You'll see a blue screen. Okay. I got enough time. Deathloop was just a game. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I need a lantern. Maybe I should have gone back to that guy and got a lantern. Yeah. Oh, man. Alright. Into the darkness we go. But, yeah, I just... Oh, it's this freaking... Frick you. Bad puppy. Alright, anyways. Oh, I have my shield for some reason. Yeah, take my shield. Take that. Why do I have my shield? What's that? Oh, I'm not gonna be ready for the boss battle. That sucks. What's over here? Just these things. Yeah, just these silver fireflies. Oh. Hi, puppy. Thank you. That's a dead guy. I love the music, by the way. The atmosphere is fantastic in this game, too. Okay. What am I... Oh, I got a heal. Hold on a sec. Oh, it's in my other hand. There we go. No. There we go. And I don't see a sign on the ground or anything, so let's get ready for this. But Deathloop was... I didn't really care for, like, it was variety listed guns. I didn't care about the characters. There's a story. It's just a very forgettable meh game. And because of the critics and stuff, it got too much hype and build up. It was really annoying. So, moving on. And number 3. Number 3 has to be Callisto Protocol. Like, I actually had a YouTuber that was a complete asshole over Callisto Protocol. And luckily they are trying to clean things up. They did remove that video because they had gone too far, and they even attacked a lot of their commenters, being very rude towards them. And it seems like they at least mean better. At least most of their videos aren't rude or disgusting or nasty towards their audience. I will say that. Where that one video just kind of showed their true colors, or they got a little too upset one day and started attacking their fans and stuff. They shouldn't have done that in the first place, but hopefully they mean well, more so nowadays. But yeah, Callisto Protocol itself, just a terrible game, just a really boring game with awful controls, awful control scheme and everything. Very clunky and not in a good way. Frick you. Can I parry this guy? Is it worth trying is the question. But, this was supposed to be a spiritual successor to Dead Space, even has Glenn A. Schofield. And it was just the same with its DLC. I haven't played the DLC, but I've seen it played, and it does not look good. I did not hear good things about it. And it was just a very tedious game. Even its stealth elements didn't work. And it was such a pain to play. It felt like I was playing torture. It was the one game I could torture my enemies with. It was so bad in its controls and stuff. Ooh. Frick you. Whoa! He was really close. Oh, I need an opening to heal. Yeah, I need an opening so I can heal. There we go. Ooh. Oh, what the hell? Oh, his freaking attack followed me up. Man, I am not doing very well. This guy is supposed to be easy, and I'm not doing well. I need to play these games more. I've been playing too many Bethesda games. I have been playing a lot of Bethesda. I don't know why. I think I just fell in the mood for Bethesda when you guys saw me playing Fallout 4 and Bethesda, like Skyrim and such recently. Like, I don't know. I just felt in a mood for that stuff, and it became most of what I was doing recently. So I wanted to kind of change it up. Did I say anything else about Callisto Protocol? It had awful repeated bosses, just like Order 1886. It has a lot of the same problems I have with Order 1886. Terrible plot, characters, forgettable characters, honestly. Yeah, just really bad all around. Forgettable story, characters, gameplay. It was just god awful to play. It was not fun, and it was like torture, the video game. Freaking hated it. Yeah, very clunky and not in a good way. Not fun to play. Really terrible. I hated the weapons. I did not give a crap about the weapons. And they didn't let you use a lot of your special abilities and or weapons very much in the first place to really, like, give it that edge of caring. Because some games will have, like, really interesting or fun weapons to use. You'll find a weapon that you'll like and stick with it. It just did not have any of that. And the Dead Space remake just kind of buried that game in the rubble. It was just sad to frickin' see. What's going on? What are these? Oh, is that one of those skulls? Okay, I see. Oh, I know what that is now. I just remembered where another cave is that I can enter into. Feeling like I should have chose a different character class at the beginning. This will give us a little cutscenes so we can talk. Next is The Last of Us at number 2. God damn, do I have a lot to say about The Last of Us. I know there's people who like it, and you can like it all you want. Frickin' Last of Us pissed me off. It killed off characters I genuinely really liked,
Greetings,
and didn't
traveler
really
from
execute it
beyond
very
the
well,
fog.
in my opinion.
I am Melina.
I felt the character development was off. The pacing was all over the goddamn place. You had like frickin' um, flashbacks within flashbacks and stuff, and I was like trying to catch up with the stuff going on in the present and in the past. It was like all over the damn place.
I
The story
offer
was
you
just
our
not
call.
very good in its presentation and everything. I found the characters mediocre and forgettable. They ruined a lot of the
Ever
older
heard of the
characters that we
Finger
liked.
Maidens?
They were super forgettable,
They serve the Two Fingers,
or ruined.
offering guidance
They had a dumbass
and
ending
aid
that made no
to the
sense. I know they're trying to say violence is bad and you're doing
Would
all this
you
horrible stuff, but you're doing
be
all this
afraid?
horrible stuff and your character's showing
Our
no remorse or
maidens.
care. There's only a couple of times where she shows
I
that,
can play the
but
role of
it's
maiden,
so few in between all the other crap, so
turning
it just
weak
doesn't
into
have
strength
the impact they were
to
probably
aid you
hoping
in
for.
your search for the Elden Ring.
And it's just ridiculous.
You
But
may
yeah,
now take me with you
I think that
to the
this
foot
game
of the Erd Tree.
was like one of the worst I have seen
Settle
for a long time
Some
in
be
demonstrating
like
a
us,
lot of its
to turn ruins
core
into
elements that it's known for and making it worse,
strength.
somehow worse.
Another
Because
matter,
Last of Us you played
like a
mostly
cliff
for the
key of
story
this ring.
rather than like multiplayer and stuff. There was very little replay value even to Last of Us Part 2 as well. And yet somehow people were finding reasons to keep playing it.
Use
It was
it
just a
to
freaking,
traverse great
which will be
distances.
ironic to the first game, what I
It
would
will
say to the
summon a
first game as
spectral
well.
steed named
It was
Torment.
just a game that pissed a lot of
Torment has
people off,
chosen
left a
you.
lot of people divisive, ruined a lot of
Treat him with
characters,
respect.
had an all over the place story, a message that didn't work because it was also all over the place, and like I previously said, because of your actions throughout the game, it just doesn't work properly. Thank you for all the tips. Alright. Where is this? Oh, there it is. Can I allocate my, stuff? Let me see if I can. Flasks. There we go. I think I would do better with 4 healing instead. Alright. Isn't there a goodie over by the... Oh, there's a guy there. Let's try and get rid of him. Hey. But yeah, like, Last of Us was torture to go through too, with its awful characters and character development. It was just such a chore of a game. Such torture once again. I would torture my enemies with it. And it feels very deceiving and manipulative, ironically, to the next game, into like how it's utilizing its story towards people and certain story elements. It's just god awful, and I cannot bear to play it. Like, that is a game that is only one time played, and then never again. It was freaking torture. Characters felt out of character. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a good looking game, but once again, graphics don't make up for the other crap. Like, once again, those details. Same with what I'm about to talk about I would talk about with the other game. Like, a lot of people have been doing those little tiny detail videos where it's showing a game doing better details than, say, Starfield or Legend of Zelda compared to Horizon. Like, it doesn't mean those games are bad, neither of them. But, also, it's being taken too far because they're being treated as the more important things, and they will sadly sway some people's opinions, but they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. And yeah, like it's interesting that they have those details, but that doesn't mean that every game's gonna have them, or that every game has to be the same, or that certain games aren't good because they don't have those details. That would just be very one-sided to think that way. I mean, I'm pretty sure most Souls games don't have a lot of those details that are being shown there. And yet, look how they've been treated. You got frickin' Elden Ring here, for example. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a lot of the similar details that people have been showing with those game comparison videos. And those game comparison videos have been treated a little too highly as the way to direct their opinion on a game and stuff. And it's like, that's not the way it should be. As well as you should be paying attention to the bigger things, such as story, character development, the gameplay. And your gameplay is only as good as what you're using it towards. So, or using it on, or whatever. Whatever the gameplay is supposed to complement, or whatever is supposed to complement the gameplay. And if that thing doesn't complement it, then what's the point of having good gameplay if it's not complemented with something good alongside it? And finally, we come to first place. By the way, second place was Last of Us Part 2. Whoa, that freaking shadow of the sun, like, casting down on me was freaking creeped me out. What the hell? That scared me. I just saw a giant shadow and I was like, what the hell? Something giant coming towards me and I don't know about it. I don't think the giant's supposed to drop down. I think he drops down when you go further in. Yeah, he's just kind of chilling up there. Look at him chill up there. Look at him alongside my head. He's as big as my head. Until I go up there, then he's not as big as my head. He's bigger. But, you know who first place is. It's been slowly putting itself further and further down my list of games I hate. Because technically I would hate a lot of the games I talked about previously before this game, but because a lot of the things going on and the heat of the moment and just everything surrounding it has just made it hurt more and more over time, and it's just sad to watch. And that has to be Cyberpunk 2077. Even now, it has to be Cyberpunk 2077. When you got a game that is being hyped multiple times now, like, every time it had a patch, people swore it was a better game when it's not really. And once again, the glitches were not truly the biggest problem. The game had other core problems. I recommend Manly Review's video on Cyberpunk, which has Cyberpiss in the title, and I recommend Beat 'em Up's video as well as Actman's video on it. Probably mostly Manly and Beat 'em Ups because they do the best dissection of the game. It's got so many plot holes, really big plot holes when you think about it. The villain isn't very good in that game. Like, take, for example, Alduin in Skyrim or Sauron in The Lord of the Rings. Like, those villains' presence are felt through the things they do to the world, how they terrify even the Institute in Fallout 4, which is terribly written. You still feel their presence in Fallout 4. Like, they actually are wreaking havoc, attacking, killing civilians. Even people are turning against each other because of the Institute, thinking that their brothers or sisters in arms are replicants as well. You even have the Brotherhood, where like you have to make a choice in what you do with Dance when you find out he's a replicant as well. He doesn't even know. As well as just like the theories that you might be a replicant. Doing the kind of Blade Runner thing. But, yeah, like, it's... Okay, we're gonna go up to area up ahead. And we're going to try to get those grease sites. I think I have to return to back to the church though, just because for some reason in particular. Whoops. Yeah, it lost. But, Cyberpunk's just, like, ooh. Like, you have the terror of the dragons, you know that Alduin even demonstrates it through the story, that Alduin's releasing the dragons, and you see them terrorize the people of Skyrim. And, you just get none of that with Arasaka in the game. When you're walking across the streets, you either got empty streets of no cars or people, or you got people dressed weirdly. Like, why does everybody look like a emo hooker? And, suck this person.
Been grafted.
And
Everyone who came with
why
them.
couldn't Johnny Silverhand and the main character V are very unlikable characters in general. They're jerks through most of the game, and it, like Manly said, that whole cutscene of showing you and Jackie picking a car, joining a gang, all that stuff. Why couldn't you do that yourself? You didn't have the freedom to do that stuff. And they kill off Jackie early. They even showed that in the trailers when the game was originally coming out. So they spoiled that stuff. Honestly, it's the opposite of Starfield, where the first 6 hours of Starfield are boring and need time to build, and some people won't like. And Cyberpunk's actually got a good intro 6 hours, but then after the 6 hours is done, you have more fun and you start to get more into Starfield, where in Cyberpunk it just falls apart more and more. That story's a mess. Johnny, why did the villains make a copy of the person who gave them the most trouble in the first place? Why are the villains not have a real presence even during a parade? Nobody's in fear or hate of them. The world has the look of a cyberpunk world, but not the feel of a cyberpunk world. It loses a lot of that feeling and comes across like a kind of generic Ubisoft open world, and a lot of the stuff I don't like about Ubisoft open worlds. Just bloated, boring, lifeless, just all sorts of stuff that I don't care about. And man, like, you thought the Starfield people were coping, and yes, there are some dumbass fanboys that need to shut their mouths amongst the Starfield stuff. There is buildup of almost 3 years worth of cope with Cyberpunk, where there were YouTubers making videos that were trying to say, Cyberpunk's better now. Even my friend, as he's watching a Twitch stream for an entirely different game, told me that these random people came into this Twitch stream and started bothering everybody, bothering people with, oh, Cyberpunk's better now, guys, it's better now. And everybody was so annoyed and like, no, it's not. Shut the hell up. Like, legitimately, they're even going into Twitch streams annoying people. Once again, not every fan of Cyberpunk is like this, but goddamn, these people are not helping, and they are making a bad name for Cyberpunk fans, and just Cyberpunk in general. They don't even live up to it. The game doesn't even live up to the name Cyberpunk. It's mostly focused on that punk aspect, and it's not even the right kind of punk, because it's like thinking it's more of a rock punk and stuff, and the parts, the actual cyberpunk parts are too clean. A lot of the characters look like they should have been in something else rather than this game. They would have worked better in something else. And a lot of the patches are more the equivalent of just making a whole new game instead of just being actual patches. They should have just made a whole new game anyways. But yeah, like, but even them using like the comic books, like there's so much merchandising on Cyberpunk before it was even fixed up.
A chrysalid. But I'm still a milksop baby. I can't even govern myself to step beyond the bounds of
But yeah, like it had all sorts of like merchandise and anime and stuff made before, and they don't explain a lot of the lore or do a good job. It's kind of got that Destiny problem where it's like a lot of the lore isn't actually in the game, or like it's not explained well in the game. Like take the Arasaka company once again, they're not explained very well, like what they are exactly and what they do. The characters are boring and forgettable. The story is boring and forgettable. The story chalks up to such a simple, basic and boring premise. It's like, oh, you want to be a legend. What does that mean? Like, you want to be a legend of what? A legend of what? This is such a boring, selfish, freaking plot line. Why couldn't this be something else? We got games like Mass Effect, and even frickin', I would even say Skyrim has a frickin' more adventurous, interesting, and unique story. I would even say Fallout 4 at least tries with something. Like the whole finding your son is still more interesting than wanting to become a legend and having a Keanu Reeves be a dickhead and see his point of view of him being a dickhead. Like, these characters are too unlikable to get attached to. How did people like these? I think they mostly liked them for their design and just the fact that they were famous people playing them. It doesn't feel like they did it for any other reasons than that. It just feels very selfish, a lot of the stuff going on. Sadly, the fans have just been really repetitive in how they've been trying to defend this. I feel like they use the whole PlayStation hate towards Starfield as an advantage to also attack Starfield and try and hype up once again the frickin' game that got hype again. I was gonna die there anyways. And I need to return to the Grace site that has the no, last Grace visited. But it's got too many things, too many problems going for it. I don't care about the world. I don't care about the characters. Every time I run into enemies in the game, it looks like the same old gang members everywhere. And I know they're going to try and fix that stuff, even though they're not going to fix it, of course, for the previous consoles quite as much. Because if the previous consoles that aren't called Xbox Series X or PS5 aren't getting good updates and stuff, or a lot of this stuff fixed, and of course they're going to be a mess, and people who don't care about those new consoles, or maybe they can't afford those newer consoles and stuff, or better PCs to run it, are probably just not going to care. And I've seen the same amount of people just not give a crap about Cyberpunk, and I'm just as equally getting sick of it as much as I have here, explaining it here. And sadly, there are YouTubers that are just attacking it. And the one YouTuber I'm talking about is somehow bigger than me, but I guess that's not too unlikely, being that Quantum TV is bigger than me. And look at him. Ugh. So, yeah, like, it's just disappointing. It's sad. And I hope those people learn from the mistakes they cause, the things they do. I hate manipulative people. I've had to deal with manipulative people my whole life because that is my goddamn evil-ass family. And I've had to deal with them manipulating me and doing all sorts of crap. And seeing that through YouTubers doing that same thing through a website that is supposed to be for everybody, and they're doing this kind of crap, it just feels no different from some of the other YouTubers I've hated seeing the crap they do lately, like Ed Meon and Geeks and Gamers and stuff. It looks no different. They basically became the very evil and the very thing they sought to destroy. They have become that very thing that they sought to destroy. It's kind of like that saying, the one with that I think there's a Megadeth song as well on, where it's the dog that you bite the hand that feeds. It kind of feels like that saying could be applied. But Cyberpunk has just made its way slowly to being one of my most hated games. A lot of the people that I've seen defending it and attacking other people over stuff, either through videos or other means, have just not helped that case and made it worse. I sent messages, and I usually go over the messages with my friends to make sure that they're neutral enough while also demonstrating the problems that are at hand, either with the game or the people utilizing the game. And it just feels like another scenario, like what I dealt with Evil Redfield or whatever back in the day. Evil Redfield doesn't seem like they're as bad as these YouTubers seem to be, though. And they probably are so full and egotistical of themselves that they're not even going to respond to my messages, which I don't care. I hope they don't. I just hope that they learn from their mistakes. That's my big point, is I hope they learn from what they're doing and that they actually reflect on their life and the stupid things they're doing, stupid egotistical things they're doing, and actually fix their life up, because it's just ridiculous to see this crap. I know I sound like that person that's trying to be like, oh, is it like it's some Zen Buddhism thing? You gotta be peaceful, man. This is like, but that's not a bad thing to go by. You do want to be a better person. You, like a lot of your favorite characters in fictional media, develop and learn and become better people in their stories. Wouldn't you want to be that same way? You don't want to be remembered as a dickhead the rest of your life, do you? I wouldn't want to be. I know some people are going to think that, but that doesn't mean it's always true. And hopefully it's not true for others. But sadly, there's, for people like the one I've been talking about subtly, that it's sad that they've been going down the path they have. And it's not looking very good. It is going to, of course, get a fan base its own, but that doesn't mean nothing, because, I mean, if Quantum TV can have a fan base, any stinking dumbass can have a fan base. It'll just like him. I hope that, like, Quantum TV would even learn from his mistakes, but it doesn't seem like he's all there to really have the kind of thoughts to make those big decisions, so I don't know what to say there. He does seem so lost in himself that, like, there's probably no way to truly, like, come back from that, or whatever you want to say. But yeah, I would hope these people would try to do better, not shove this stuff in other people's faces, hopefully, which has sadly been a lot of the deals most of the time, and I would hope that things would go over better in the future for a lot of these YouTubers or channels. And how this tied into what I was talking about with my number one game is just a lot of, I've seen, sadly, some people just utilize their platforms for certain games just to either attack others or to maybe harass, I don't know, like, do other stupid things as well. And it's one part of many reasons I don't like the games that are on my list today. The other parts are just the games are horrible and absolute agony. So, but I think I went into enough details with those. I saw somebody just join the chat. Probably joined at the latter half of the video, the last half, so sorry about that. But this video will be on at all times, so it can be rewatched at any time. I just hope it's not too long a video. I don't want it to be too long, but it might end up that way anyways. But yeah, I just freaking, like, I don't want to hate games, but there are games that sadly, like, gave me a bad time, or I've run into situations with people that through that game gave me a bad time, or something else completely. And of course, I gave multiple reasons why I don't like those games. It's not just because of people, it is also because of the game itself and what it has delivered to torture me. Yeah, and the number one game I was talking about, Cyberpunk, just like I never found that game compelling. Every time I came back to replay it, because I honestly did try to give it more chances. As a matter of fact, recently, like a couple days or so ago, me and my friend Dave tried to play it again, and he's got a series, and I've got one of the older consoles, and we both just didn't really care for the game. We felt like playing Deus Ex instead. We felt like playing even a Bethesda title. We felt like playing a BioWare title. We would have rather been playing anything else. Every time we came back to the game, it was just boring. It wasn't compelling. It actually had a lot of shared problems with multiple other games I had hated, such as, like, it had a lot of problems similar to ESO that I hated. It had a lot of similar problems to The Division that I hated. It had similar problems to a lot of Ubisoft games I had. It, like, bloated, boring-ass open world that felt lifeless, and it was just more of a chore to explore than fun, meaningful, or interesting. It had problems that Destiny had, like, most of the lore wasn't in the game. You had to look for it outside, as well as when that lore was in the game, it wasn't explained very well. The villains were not very compelling. Somehow the Institute from Fallout 4 were more compelling and had more presence. You at least remembered them. You didn't remember Arasaka at all, even though I'm saying their name. As well as they didn't really do much to antagonize or be a true threat to the main character, especially when they kind of forget all about you. And don't come after you, really. It's like everything kind of... And then you got just two unlikable characters, a big segment during Jackie and you joining, like, the cutscene showing you join a gang and pick a car out and all that. You wish you could do that yourself, but you don't truly get to do that yourself. And you skip a lot of character development. You could have grown with V. And I feel like Johnny Silverhand and V's banter between each other, they were just very unlikable jackasses throughout most of that game. And I just did not like them. I did not find the story compelling, especially when the story is as simple as you want to become a legend. And it's not all that simple because you can't even understand, like, what the hell do you mean by become a legend? It's such a contrived story. It's got so many stupid sequences that play out. Forgettable characters. And, like, here's another thing I actually have, similar to Destiny. Destiny has great gunplay, but I don't care about what you're fighting. I find the enemies repetitive, or bullet sponges. Matter of fact, I could use the Division 1 for that. Repetitive, bullet spongy, and boring. I never found them fun to fight. Same with Cyberpunk. Good gunplay, terrible freaking enemies. Do not find them fun to fight. The game's lacking in variety and creativity. It has the look of a cyberpunk world, but none of the feel of a cyberpunk world, and it just feels empty and boring and lifeless all around. Like, Bethesda games have interesting characters, story, and even if it doesn't have a lot of the details that a lot of other games have, it does those other things right, and it does them really well. Bethesda games somehow have a really good hook to them, and they somehow come across as unique. There's almost no other games like a Bethesda game. And like what Jube said in his video on Starfield, I don't think you should be comparing games to others, especially like even Baldur's Gate 3. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is great and does deserve Game of the Year, but don't compare games like Starfield to it. Though, sadly, that's going to happen anyways, because people are just going to do that. It's the same thing with another guy that was talking about, I can't remember the video and the YouTuber, but he was talking about how he felt it was going to be inevitable that people would compare Armored Core to Elden Ring and such, and that people would want the Elden Ring DLC first instead of Armored Core 6. And Armored Core 6 is great. And of course there's a lot of the fan backlash, like the Sony ponies, as you would call them and such. And I just hate the console war, and it feels like the frickin' Cyberpunk fans took advantage, at least the ones that are making a big mess of the situation. Not all of them, but the ones that are being assholes took advantage of the situation and decided to also attack and do really stupid things too. Or a combination of the two even. Maybe it's a fan of both. And yeah, they've been using the situation in a very manipulative manner and a very disgusting way. And that's what, because of that crap that I've been seeing and witnessing, and I've even wrote messages trying to debunk things and to put things in a different perspective or light or whatever. I did roast a little bit of somebody, though I wouldn't say it's an awful roast. They would have done the same in my place. But, yeah, like, it's frickin', it just sucks to watch this kind of stuff. Like, why does everything have to be treated as a war? It just sucks. Console war, game war, it just all sucks to watch, and it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing for everybody. Everybody is cringing in this situation. Nobody wins. It feels like that, is that a Nostalgia Critic thing? Where, I can't remember what it was. It might have even, I think it was Juve actually that said it, where it's like, you think you're really cool looking, you won this bar fight, and instead in reality you realize you were naked and you were in front of a 7-Eleven, and you didn't actually win that fight, and everybody loses. I can't remember exactly how it went, but, and also you were recorded on TikTok or something, and everybody loses. But that's how these fights that have been going on between with the Starfield stuff, and Baldur's Gate stuff, the PlayStation console war stuff, it all feels like the equivalent of that, and that discourse is just embarrassing and stupid. It's just really sad. It sucks. And I hate watching it every second of the way. And these people sadly think that just because there's a couple of dumbasses, but then a couple of dumbass fanboys of a community, that they group them up and think that that must mean everybody in that community is dumbasses. And sadly, just like me, they can have that kind of effect on you, where you think lowly of that community. But even I, with like what I've said, I can still be neutral and say that, and bring up the point that not everybody amongst that community is bad. But that sadly there are people that stand out more than others that have made it that way, or feel that way at least. And it sucks. So, I don't know what else to say or add to the conversation. I would hope that certain people, if reading the comments, would watch this video all the way through and see what I have to say, especially in the end part here. But, who knows? I mean, not many people know my channel even exists in the first place. But I do my channel for fun. I'm in it for the fun, and it's something that encourages and lifts me up, something that I can do in my meantime, something I hope I can bring enjoyment to other people, even though I'm not really doing anything with my character right now. Guess I'm talking to you right there. Don't give me that look. That's my fault, mainly. But yeah, I don't know what else to contribute. I think I said all I could. I'm sure there is more I can say, and I've certainly had more, because when I was talking about the cyberpunk stuff with my friend, I just kept coming up with more and more things to talk about, and yeah, they weren't all that great either, things, so that sucks. And sadly, something like cyberpunk just feels like it's just been ruined for someone like me. And yeah, and it's been ruined sadly for other people too because of a lot of things. I wouldn't doubt that I've probably ruined things for people as well. I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, we're only human, but yeah, you don't know what to do. You still want that neutral point of view though, and you still want that want to at least mention things that bring it back to like what I was just saying. Like, you want to at least acknowledge that those things exist, that there is good and bad amongst each community or each situation or whatever it may be. Don't just factor them all into one group, like this whole group's only good, or like this whole group is only bad. No, they have a mix of both. Or some of them are even mid. Mid-tier. But yeah, I think that's all I have to really contribute. I've said way too much on my channel because the game has pissed me off so many times, and the fan base has sadly also pissed me off a lot. And I don't comment very often. Like, I rarely comment at all. The only reason I have commented recently is I've been seeing a lot of the bull crap that's been going on, and I feel like it needs to be dealt with. I know that bigger YouTubers, sadly, anything they say that is sadly going to be taken as fact, and I would hope that people would reconsider or think twice about what is being said, or at least consider a different point of view, and then make their decision from there. But you can't always stop everybody. That's mainly why I stepped in with what I did, and said in comments to Asmongold's channel stuff, and some others that I won't be mentioning, because until they change their ways, I don't think they're truly deserving of mentioning. And when I saw that channel and subtly talking about it, it was obvious not only by the comments of what other people were saying in their comment section, but also from looking at their video titles and stuff. They had frickin' titles that were so stupid and selfish, egotistical. It was just awful. And repetitive even. So it was just not worth it. I even said that in my comments. I said, I know what this channel is about. It's being manipulative. It is not worth dealing with this. I will leave with my last words here. And that was it for now. Unless they actually do respond. But yeah, it's just been ridiculous lately. I hope you guys, I don't know if I would say enjoy, but I would say found something informative or interesting what I had to add to the conversation or say. And I hope you have a awesome day nonetheless, or night, or wherever you are in the world. Hopefully it's awesome. But I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.